2009 for us was amazing. I think we did 26 festivals. Glastonbury was amazing. Download was amazing. It was, like I said, we did 26 of them, so they're kind of all blurred into one. Especially, a year later. But yeah, that was it. We put the live show on hold for a while we work on the album, and I think we ended 2009 with a tour in Australia, just testing out some of our album stuff, and we're going to sort of finish that album preview tour here in London.
This London show is sort of the first time that we've got all the tracks together, and we've sort of honed them down to a point that we're really happy with them, and so this will be the result of all that work. We're using a new sort of DJ setup that we've put together, using Ableton and some controller hardware. Although it's nothing new, and there's people who are already doing it. There's not many people doing that with drum and bass, and there's not many people doing it the way that we've set it up. Airstorm is our night at Matter.
Yeah, and so we've got some artists that we're really feeling, and also we're going to use it to sort of test out a lot of this new material that we've done, and should be super awesome.
It's just like things we like, things we've made, people that we think are the cutting edge.
It's also one of the sort of only times that we're going to be using our visual effects people as well as the Ableton setup. So it should be something pretty special.
The new DJ setup just brings a lot more flexibility with what we can play, how quickly we can play it, and what we can do with tracks. I mean, we do a lot of key matching, and we've got a lot of stems from tunes and stuff that they're in our existing catalogues and stuff, so we can basically break the tunes apart and remix them live. It's something you can't do with turntables and a CDJ.
Instead of just playing something like Tarantula, which people have obviously heard before, you can play a different version of it with the Tarantula vocal over another track, and then skip into Tarantula for 8 bars and then back out again. So it's very quick, and it's very collaborative. The whole thing behind people not hearing an album until it's released, I think the days of doing that are pretty much over, and people want to hear this stuff as soon as possible and sort of check the tracks out and have an idea of what's ahead. Once this stuff's out there, it gives people a chance to sort of talk about it, and we read comments and shit like that, so there's bound to be stuff that we pick up on that we might not have, and it gives us a chance to sort of finish it off.
I think it gives your audience a chance to grow accustomed to the music as much as we've grown accustomed to it throughout its process of being written.
DJing is a good testing ground. It's always been a brilliant testing ground for us to just see how the tunes are, they're going in the right direction and stuff. We've always used it that way.
I guess it can always feel like a collaborative effort between yourself and your audience. If you play test versions, demo versions along the way as you're making the tracks, and then amend them accordingly depending on what the reactions were like, it almost feels like you had help.
There's going to be a lot of new Pendulum stuff. I mean, obviously it's the album preview show, so people are expecting to hear a lot of that stuff, but I mean, there's a lot of other stuff we're feeling at the moment that we'll be playing as well. So
we'll be playing probably like 80 or 90% of the new stuff, but some of the tracks are in their infancy, and some nearly completed. So, and plus a back catalogue as well.
We've got every track we've ever made from the last 7 years is there, ready to add just a section of that song, or a little clip, or just a riff or something over the top of something new. So I guess we're just going to play stuff we think sounds good, which is always what we've done, and then play some new songs and hope they sound just as good as those.
The idea behind this album was taking the parts we like best of the previous two and sort of honing our sound instead of making it about one or the other. I mean, people might have been a bit confused about the in silico direction, and to me that direction still makes sense now that we went that way. But as to which direction we prefer, I think I don't think we prefer either, and so that's why this album's a bit of both. We got we've got stuff that sounds like newer versions of, you know, things like even Fasten Your Seatbelts, and we've got collaborations with Swedish pioneers of melodic death metal, so there's a bit of everything.
I think this album process has been closer to probably Hold Your Colour, in that we've been able to test the music out a lot, and obviously with the DJ tour we did in Australia.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot more random again, because I didn't really want to write anything or have an idea of any track before we made it. I just wanted to approach it as we came to it, and then do whatever we wanted to do on the night, even if it was 5 minutes before the show.
I mean, 2010 is going to see us obviously release the album, and we'll bring the live band out on tour again.
When the last two were released, I don't know, it didn't feel really as though everything was sort of in place or everything was set to take off in a certain way. With this album, we've done so much, you know, pre-preparation for it and put so much work and thought into it, and now it's all sort of finally leading up to this point, and we can sort of see it taking off. The stuff that we're playing tonight is it's called an album preview for a reason, and that reason being that we haven't really put the finishing touches on anything. This is the album as it is right now, and there's lots of things, you know, lyrics, even entire sections of certain tracks that are likely to change. So all I'll say is, you know, enjoy the material, but don't get too attached.
Everything's subject to change.